Do you use Postscript in your emails and in your social media posts? You know, that little PS that sits down the bottom, that PS actually stands for Postscript. So maybe that's something you learnt like me. Anyway, that's what we're talking about on the podcast today, the power of the PS that exists down the bottom of copy. Hey, welcome to the Small Business Made Simple podcast, brought to you by socialmediaandmarketing.com.au. Being in business is never easy, but it can be simple, or at least simpler. Join me, your host Jen Donovan, every week where we focus on marketing, social media, and working towards simplifying your business. You with me? Let's do this.
Gonna dream it big, 'cause someone out there listening. Everyone's got a voice to give, and it's time I heard you whistling, 'cause there's no point at all, in dreaming small.
Hey there, my fabulous listener. Welcome to episode 87 of the Small Business Made Simple podcast. Thank you, as always, for lending me your ears today. I do realize that you have lots of choices out there, and I sincerely appreciate you making me one of them. If you're a first-time listener, then hey, super welcome to you. And if you're a long-time listener, then hey, super welcome back to you. I'm really happy that you've landed here and are back to listen to episode 87, all about the PS. I am, of course, the host, Jen Donovan, and it's my job via this podcast and social media and just about everywhere else that I hang out to make your business life simpler. I'm a thought leader when it comes to marketing here in Australia and a marketing strategist for small businesses, because I know that business can be lonely and hard and complicated, and look, it's rarely easy, but it definitely should be simple, or at least simpler. So that is my commitment to you on the so named Small Business Made Simple podcast. One way that I can help you always to make your life a little bit simpler is if you come and hang out in my like-minded business owners group on Facebook. You can just go to Facebook and search like-minded business owners and join, or of course you can come to the show notes at socialmediaandmarketing.com.au/87 and you will find the link there. Like-minded business owners is just a really cool place to hang out and get to know other people that are on a similar journey to you, owning businesses and going through the peaks and troughs of what it's like to own your own business. This episode is actually sponsored by my 30-day social media challenge. Now, if you are zoomed out, if you are over Zoom webinars and you really just have pages and pages of notes, or maybe even books and books of notes from all the freebie webinars that you've been turning up to lately, and maybe it's time to take some action, then maybe my 30-day social media and marketing challenge is exactly what you need. There is a waitlist going at bit.ly, so bit.ly/Jen's waitlist. And it's all about action, because we need more action takers in the world. We don't need people aiming to do something. We need more people to actually be taking action. So all those notes that you've been taking on all your free webinars, we now need to make sure that you are putting them into practice and testing and measuring them like all good marketers do. Today on the podcast, like I've said a couple of times, I really wanted to plant some seeds in your brain and talk about the power of the PS, which actually stands for Postscript. And we use it in our emails and even in our social media captions, or at least I do, and I see other people using it as well. So maybe if you don't use PS, then this episode is going to encourage you greatly to start looking at the power of the PS. And if you do use it, then perhaps we could have a bit of a chat about what you actually write in that, and are you using it for the power that it does possess. It's that little thing on the end of a letter that we put saying, hey, and by the way, PS, and then we put a little bit of extra in. Despite the fact that the reader actually thought we were finished, we weren't finished. So stick with me if you don't quite realize the power of the PS, but it is one of the most powerful parts of the entire email. So hands up, or if you're driving a car, please don't put your hand up, but hands up, when you pick up a book, do you read the last page first? Who is in that boat with me? I am that person. So if you've just nodded your head or put your hand up, we are so alike. I will pick up a book and I will read the last page first. I will pick up a magazine and I will start from the back and work my way in. I don't know what it says about me. I don't know what it says about us if you're like that. But it's just something I seem to do very, very naturally. And Yeah. And it really translates into reading emails as well. I scroll right to the bottom of an email and I'll read the PS. And then if it's something I really want to read, I'll scroll back up and I'll read the rest of the email. But for me, the PS is something that I look at very, very often. And sometimes I won't read the rest of the email if the PS is engaging or not engaging. So if it tells me exactly what they want me to do in all the thing up the top, then I'll just go do that. And if it doesn't engage me at all, then maybe I won't even read the email that it's attached to. So the PS is like this little attention grabbing little tidbit that sits at the end, which is often, and this is my whole point of the podcast, the primary reason for actually sending an email. So the PS actually has that primary reason that you've actually sent the email out in the first place. And it's like this final push for the click for the sale, the click for listen to the podcast episode, the click for the sign up for X, whatever it is that you're trying to get someone to sign up for. Put simply, the PS is a seriously powerful tool. And if you're not using it inside both your copy and your emails, social media copy, and in your emails, it's something that you really need to consider putting in to your copy and your emails. So the PS is all the things I've mentioned above, of course, but really is just that message to reinforce the call to action. And of course, everything we do should have a call to action to it. So here's 6 effective ways to use your PS. You can be used as the hook, that compelling copy with a call to action, and kind of use your PS as a bit of a bait for the person to be able to take the action. It can be a final plea for action, for a donation, or like I said, a click for a sale, or a click to listen to a podcast or read a blog, or to sign up for a program or a freebie or something like that. It can really create urgency, you can spell out in your PS, this offer is only valid for the next 12 hours or the next 20 people who click or something like that. So it really showcases the urgency of the email. It can be used to have bonuses and new offers in there. So only the readers of the PS actually get the bonus or the offer that you're putting out there. It's a really great place to show a little bit of your personality. And we all know I'm all for human to human marketing, H to H. And it's a good place to also share a bit of a testimonial as well. So why do we love the PS so much? Or maybe I should say, why do I love the PS so much? Because I think people are really overwhelmed with information that's coming to them every single day. There's just so much of it. And we scroll and we're looking for useful information. We're looking for things to really stand out as we're actually scrolling. So whether we're scrolling through emails or whether we're scrolling through content on social media. And the PS is almost that pattern interrupt for us. It's that bit that can stop the scroll, can stop the mindless searching for relevant information. And I guess on that, did you actually know that statistically 10% of readers will read your copy or your content word for word? Most are scanning and looking for the point, something to catch their eye, and that's often the PS. And I know in copywriting, we often talk about, that pattern interrupt. So that emoji, the capitals, the bolded, the underline, all that is very similar to the PS. It's all to catch someone's eye. It's to stop the scanning and have that pattern interrupt happen for the reader. We also know the PS is going to tell us, if it's well written, exactly what we need to know about all the stuff above. So take a caption, take an email. Your PS should really be succinctly telling someone in a few lines what's written in the email or what is the actual thing that you want people to do. Because again, we live in a competitive world and people are seriously busy. So in the PS, tell me what I need to know and what you want me to do, and do it quickly, which is, of course, what the PS can do. And the other thing that makes me love a PS so much is habit. Just habit. I read the last page of a magazine or a book first. I'm naturally going to scroll down and see what the PS says. It's like I'm the type of person who would really like to eat dessert first. I like to start with the end in mind. I like to start at the end. So, habit. People have a lot of habit of just scrolling down and looking at the end to see what this is all about. So how does your PS look? Do you use a PS consistently in your marketing strategy, perhaps in your emails or even on your captions in social media? Do you use it to summarize for people like me who want to skip to the end, your point and the action you actually want me to take in just a very short few lines? If your answer to that is no, then this is your homework for the week. Yep, I've decided I'm giving out homework this week. If you don't use the PS strategy, start looking how you read. Do you read PSs? How many emails do you get that have the PS? And is that something that you naturally go down and read? Or is it something that you don't often see in emails that you get? Or perhaps you never actually use it yourself? And really just start testing and measuring and maybe even start using it. The PS can work really well for captions in social media as well. The same principles apply. You are just reinforcing the message, the action to be taken. Perhaps you're creating that urgency, that scarcity, that final plea, or, of course, offering that special offer to anyone who reads all the way to the bottom. Oh, and PS, if you're going to put things in the bottom that is kind of like a special offer, I'm always going to find those special offers because I'm always starting with the PS. And mind you, if your PS doesn't grab attention, then there is little chance of me reading the whole email. I am that person who just wants to know, what's this all about? Can you grab my attention in the PS? So I guess to summarize this little piece of marketing, this little piece of copy gold, there are so many ways to use the PS, including, of course, you can repeat your call to action and, do it succinctly and quickly. You can summarize your whole sales message in the PS. You can add new ideas in the PS or create that extra emotion for really dramatic effect. Works really quite well in a PS. You can give a special offer, and of course, like I've said before, you can create urgency and scarcity. The trick is to incorporate lessons from a PS into the body of your actual marketing email, because the person who reads the PS first and wants to know more is going to have to go and find the answers to their questions after reading your last paragraph, not before. So that's when you're thinking about what to put in your PS, think about the body of the letter that you've actually written or the email or the copy that you've actually written, and make sure that your PS makes sense compared to your copy. Again, it's kind of like that last nudge to your reader to perform an action on something. Oh, and just to end a PS podcast on a PS. So PS, do you remember when Harry met Sally, the movie? And there was a part in there where it's the one where its protagonist explains why he reads the last page of new books first. And what he actually said was, when I buy a new book, I read the last page first. That way, in case I die before I finish, I know how it ends. That, my friend, is a dark side. So dark sides attract us with their permissiveness. They are about rule breaking, sense of liability, swimming against the stream, feeling like most people subconsciously experience these sorts of things when reading PSs or postscripts. So why not kill two birds with one stone and give them what they want and satisfy your marketing needs at the same time? So if you're a PS or a last page reader like me, welcome to the dark side, baby. But seriously, next time you're writing an email or a long caption on social media, think about summarizing it in a clear, actionable PS and watch your click-through rate or your insights for movement of the best kind up. Simple? Sort of. Work? 100%. But I guess that's the lesson. People are busy, the marketplace is crowded, and if a simple, actionable, urgent PS can help us capture the attention of the reader, then it is going to be so worth it. I actually start quite a lot of my PSs with the words, if you've scrolled straight down here, then firstly, we are so alike. And secondly, here's what I really need you to know that I mentioned up there. And I'll often have, an emoji with a finger pointing up there. So I just put that little human to human marketing, H to H, conversational marketing at the end or at the start, depending on who you are. But that is all. That is all for episode 87. I wanted to talk to you about using PS as a strategy. I'm hoping that I have encouraged you to think about your PS, your postscript, a little bit differently in episode 87. As mentioned at the beginning of the episode, it is sponsored by my 30-day social media and marketing challenge. So if you are all zoomed out and you want to take action, then go to the waitlist at bit.ly/Jen's waitlist and join up there. And if you've got questions about postscript and PSs and how to use it, then head into, of course, the Like-Minded Business Owners group on Facebook, or you can send me a DM on Instagram, of course, as well. I will be back next Thursday with another great episode to help you simplify your business in 2020. If you're enjoying this podcast, and I hope so because you've listened this far, please don't forget to press that subscribe button so that you never miss another episode. And of course, if you could share this episode with another superstar business owner who's doing that daily grind and would really appreciate someone making their business life a little bit simpler, then I would so appreciate that. Leaving a rating and a review for the show, of course, shows me, so much gratitude for the weekly content that I put out, and I'm highly grateful for that. I will, of course, see you next week for episode 88. But in the meantime, let's get social on social and you hang out together on Instagram, Facebook, or, of course, in LinkedIn. But whatever you do, my small business peeps, remember, as my opening song says, there is no point in dreaming small.
Say it proud, be true, and let us see you for the star that you are.